Hey, what's up everybody, this is Tattoo Bar. Thank you for watching again. In today's video we're gonna compare my $1,000 Sidewinder by Kubin to this knockoff from China for only 100 bucks. Now let's go a little bit in depth with the Sidewinder, because why am I so hyped about Sidewinder kind of machines? So today, like I promised in the last video, we're gonna do a little 1 versus 1 challenge, real versus fake, with two tattoo machines. And my go-to machine is the Sidewinder v3r by Kubin. I've really loved this machine. I've used it for a couple of years now, I think about 2 years, and I absolutely loved it. The reason why I also have a fake one is probably because first I was a little bit scared to buy $1,000 machine, because yeah, it is a lot of money. I'm not saying it's expensive for the machine, it's just generally a lot of money to spend. Like, okay, here you go, €1,000, dollar, whatever you use for a tattoo machine. Especially in the COVID times, it was a little bit difficult, but it was worth every single dollar I spent on it. So the reason why I did buy this is I wanted to try out this machine before I buy it. I originally bought the EX2 from Dragonhawk. I will put the description on the review from that video in the description below, so you can have a look at that one, because that was a really good machine as well. But I like this one just a little bit better, or it's a little bit easier, because I just love to use my clip cord for every machine. And I think the EX2 is with a RCA cable, which is fine, and the locking system, so your vice locking system on the EX2 is a little bit cheaper made. This one is a little bit better made, so yeah, it will last a little bit longer. So let's dive down and just have a look at the machines close up. So here we go, we got both machines here on the table. As you can see, they're both not completely identical, and that's because this is the remastered version, so the v3r, the remastered version of the version 3 Sidewinder by Kubin. And this is a knockoff, which I think they went a little bit more for the look of the v7 or v8, because as you can see here in the bottom, you have a little dial thing, which I will get into a little bit later. And here they got something else to adjust some things, which we should talk about now. Okay, so you got the little dial frame over here. So they say if you point it towards where your connection is, this will be the softest hit that the machine has. And if you turn it the other way, it'll be a hard hit. So it'll hit a little bit harder. It might be better for color packing, maybe lining with bigger needles and stuff like that. So yeah, you can play around a little bit with the soft and the hard knob, what they call this thing. I think this was originally also the made by Kubin in the newer version, but unfortunately I don't own that one. I just have this one yet. You know, maybe I'll get it later, but we will see, because so far I just like this machine. And then I think on this one they also did the same with the vice locking system as what they did on the Kubin. It's a little bit different. It's not metal plates getting squeezed together. There's a little mechanism inside that will lock your tubes and grips and everything that it needs to lock in there. And it's a little bit better, especially on a cheap machine like this. Usually if it just squeezes the metal together, it will eventually wear down and it won't really be able to tighten anything, or it's so tight you cannot put your grip in there anymore. So I really like that on this machine, that they actually did that. Now another cool thing is the style is the same. Like the way this is built, the Sidewinder, they got the motor on the side, which is pretty good. So yeah, on the Kubin, let's go. So it's pretty cool how this one is made. It looks pretty well built. It's a little bit heavier than this one. I think this one is only 125 grams, the Dan Kubin, and then the Sidewinder is, or the Poseidon Sidewinder is maybe a little bit heavier, maybe 130 or 140, maximum 150 grams, which is really nice. So yeah, on the Dan Kubin, on the dial part, they have a little star here. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can get that to focus. They got a star and a bunch of numbers, and you can turn it around and it will adjust something in the machine. Now the star is the most ideal or the most efficient setting for this machine. Is what Dan Kubin explains in his video about this machine. I will also put that in the description down below if you want to have a look at it. And then 1, it will speed up your machine a little bit, and it will be a little bit nicer for smaller needles in my opinion, or if you want to do a lot of soft shading. And 2, 3, you know, it will make it a little bit harder like that until you're at 9. And 9 is basically, either if you are a butcher you will like this, or if you do a lot of stippling, because what it does is it makes a really heavy hit, but the motor will operate better like this when you slow down your machine. So if you want to do stippling or whip shading, things like that, 9 is your go-to setting in my opinion. But it will also work just fine on the star, because this is a little bit of everything, especially if you like a lot of old school. This works really well for bolt lining. You could do some fine lining with it if you're a little bit careful. You can do some nice shading with it, and you can do nice color packing. So yeah, very all-around machine. Same goes for this one. Let's actually just hook these machines up to some power and let's see how they run. So here we go. I got the Knockoff one. I got it clipped up with the clip cord. It's currently on the hard setting, so it should hit really hard right now. I've got my power supply around 5 volts, so let's see what happens. It's kind of a strange noise. I think this is a little bit slow for this machine, so let's turn it up a little bit. Sounds really horrible. Definitely sound like it's hitting hard, and it is. This is really hard, and it's a little fast for my liking, but you know, it can work. Now let's see if we put this thing on soft. So we turn it all the way towards where the clip cord connection is. Let's hit it again. I'll turn it down to 5. By the way, we stopped at around 7 volts on the other one. So this is around 5 volts on the soft. You can see it's a lot softer. I think this might actually be a better setting for the machine overall. Let's turn it up a little bit. This is a little bit past 5, it's like 5.5, 5.3, 5.4, that range. It's pretty good. I do think this machine is pretty consistent, especially for a cheaper machine, knockoff machine. Let's turn it up a little bit more. We're now at 6. Feels like now I've turned up the voltage, it's actually getting a little bit softer. Look at that. This is 5.5. Seems like it hits a lot harder, even if I turn it up to 6. You see that? So it's not very consistent or what you would expect for a machine. Usually if you turn up the voltage it will get faster or it will hit harder depending a little bit on the machine, but in this case not really. Let's try a setting like in between. See how that works. Turn it down to 5 volts again. Sometimes it just sounds like a hair clipper. It sounds pretty good. Still pretty soft actually. This is 5 volts. Let's turn it up a little bit. That sounds horrific. So yeah, here you can really see it's a cheap machine. It's not consistent at all. So definitely not use this setting. Maybe if we go the other way, if there's another in between. I don't know if there's a difference between one or the other one. I don't like this. And then this is the hard setting again. Okay. So it doesn't run bad. It's not a terrible machine, but not every setting is as efficient as it should be for a machine. But you know, it's only $100, $150, something like that. So it's not bad. It still works pretty good. Now let's hook up my Dan Kubin. Now with this one, I won't go from 5 volts because from 5 to 6 volts is actually a little much on the machine for my liking. So for this one I will start at 4 volts. So let's go there. And then now it's on the ideal setting, so it's on the star mode. Okay, let's go down to 4 volts real quick. Okay, here we go. So this is 4 volts hitting super hard. Like this will be no problem. This will be no problem at all to put in an 11 round liner, maybe 9 round liner, maybe even bigger. 11 round shader, 14 round liner. Super easy, really smooth. Another cool feature with this one, because on this one you don't have anything like that. If this machine gets out of tune, you have 2 markings here on the frame. If you push down your armature bar, there's a little line here on the cam of the machine. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a little line on there. If you move that down, it should hit right there. Is a little indent on the machine. It should be right there. If you release it, it should stay in between that range. If your machine is out of tune, you will definitely hear it. You can really easily tune it by adjusting the hit screw here. You can loosen it up here and then tighten it in so it hits the frame again, because sometimes after using it for a long time it will wear down a little bit. So it's really easy to tune it. But Dan Kubin has a video on that. I will just put that in the description below, so if you want to have a more in-depth look about this machine, you can go over there and see it for yourself. It's a really good video to explain everything about this machine, how it works and stuff like that. So I will put that in the description down below if you want to have a look at it. So now let's go up a little bit in the voltage. I know this machine is very loud, I'm really sorry. Here we go. So we're gonna go from 4 to 5.5, I think, because I use it usually around 5.2, 5.3. So here we go. This is still 4 volts, and I'm gonna crank it up a little bit to 5 and then to 5.5. Here we go. So you can hear it changed a little bit in sound. That's just because the motor is working a little bit more ideal in that range. Everything below 4.5, it's not really suiting the motor right. So this is 5 volts, sounds beautiful, hits really hard, perfect. So we're gonna go to 5.5. Now if you're a really fast liner, this could definitely work for you. For me, this is way too fast, but that's all personal preference. Okay, now let's have a look at the dial, the little dial wheel here. So it's on star mode now. We're gonna go to 1, which is a softer setting. Let's go down to 5 volts. Here we go. So as you can hear, it's a little bit lighter, a little bit softer. Still hitting really hard. And you can crank it up a little bit if you want. So this is 6 volts. So you can hear it's not as loud, it's nice and soft. Would be nice if you use it for smaller liners or soft shading, things like that. Now let's go the other way. Let's go to 9, which is more for the stippling, or if you work for the Brutal Black project, something like that. Let's actually slow it down a lot. So I'm gonna start at 4 volts. See how that does. Here we go. So you can hear it's really slow, but it's hitting super hard. Like this actually hurts my finger. Maybe we can go even slower. Let's go to 3.5. This is 3.3. And as you can see, it's a little bit softer now, but it's still hitting really hard. And it's nice and slow for that whip shading, stippling, stuff like that. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now you guys probably want to see me put in some work with these machines to actually make a good comparison. So let's set up a couple of things. I'm gonna get some gloves. I'm gonna get a piece of practice skin so we can hit something on there and yeah, see how the machines act. Here we go. So as you can see, I've drawn some stuff on the practice skin. On the top of your screen you're gonna see the Poseidon. For me it's on my right, just the way of the angle of my camera. And on the bottom of your screen, so on my left, is gonna be the Kubin. I'm gonna start with the Poseidon machine, just to see, because that's the fake one. Let's see how it actually works, and then we can compare it to how good it's gonna work compared to the Sidewinder. So while we're gonna do that, I'm gonna set up so you can see how to actually set up this machine. I got a standard needle. This is a 7-round liner and a grip for a 7-round liner. Now I always like to bend the back a little bit, just so the rubber band will pull it down. Now originally there was a needle tensioner on there. I just personally don't really like using them, so I took them off. So yeah, here we go. Then I usually put the needle in my tube, just put it in gently. That's what she said. Open up your vise. Slowly put it in there. Then I usually take off my grommet here, turn the needle to the side, and just put that through. Put this over your armature bar. There we go. And I push down on the needle, set it to how much hang I want to have on my needle, and secure that. Now the rubber band is going to go over the grip, and there's a little space here where it can go in. Turn it around, put it around the motor. Now if you want a little bit of extra tension, you can also put it on here, so it pulls a little bit harder on here. Alright, see if everything's in place. Looks good to me. Alright. Let's get some ink. using Lauro Polini Black for this. It's I really like this ink. It's really good, and it's the new norm for the European standard tattoo inks and all that. So that's amazing. It works. Okay, so I got a 7-round liner. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna outline everything here. I'm gonna do whip shading over the lines to create the lines in the leaf. And then the other side, I'm gonna do solid black, which I'm gonna do with a magnum. So in between the lining and the stippling, I will change needle a little bit. And then when I've done that, I will go over to the Dan Kubin. So let's fire her up. I'm gonna use her on the hard setting for the lining. Here we go. I think it's going to be 7.2, 7 folds. See how she does. Some Vaseline on there. Now it really sucks to clean practice skin, so I'll try my best not to wipe everything away. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Not bad, not bad. Looks pretty good. So let's do a little bit of a larger line here on the right. Here we go. Now this machine does vibrate quite a bit. But not terribly. It's been a while since I've tattooed practically. So here we go. We got the lining. I don't care if I wipe this and so yeah, I can tell here I have to get a little bit more used to the practice skin. I haven't done that in a minute. I think it's been probably 5 years since I've tattooed a practice skin. Alright, now let's do the stippling here on this side. I'm gonna turn my voltage down to about I think this is 3.7. Let's just see how it works. If we need to adjust anything, we can always adjust. Here we go. So you have a really slow machine and you're just gonna move fast. It does keep changing on me a little bit. Like the machine is not super consistent. Maybe I should take some of that tension off that I put on by putting it on the where you put your clip cord in. See if that makes a little bit of difference. Here we go. Just gonna move really fast. Looks like it's doing its thing. It's doing that. It's kind of soft, but it's good. We can build it up a little bit. It doesn't quite have the power I want, so I'm going to just turn up the voltage a little bit. See if that makes any difference. So this is about 6 volts. It doesn't sound too fly, but let's see what it does. I definitely have to move a little quicker here. But the result is there. It's a little bit darker, I like that. You get some nice dots. Alright. I'm just going to add a little bit more in the bottom here. I'm not going to go too crazy on this one. I don't want to bore you for hours with this video. So yeah, definitely if you want to do some stippling, you gotta move pretty quick. I usually like to go a little bit slower. Okay, so we've got some dots. not the greatest. But then again, it could also be the practice skin, or it could be me. Maybe I'm just a terrible tattooer, I don't know. You be the judge of that. Okay, let's change over to the Magnum. I'm gonna use a 9 Magnum, I think. Yep, 9 Magnum. Long taper. Let's see if this thing can pack some black. So basically same thing for the setup, just bend it a little bit, put it in carefully. Okay, so I got the Magnum set up. I think I'm gonna use it the same speed as I used for the Stippling, just to test it out and see what happens. So it's still at 6 volts on the harder setting. Let's see how she packs black. I'm gonna start at the top, work my way down. Here we go. That's alright. Not super solid. I might want to speed it up just a little bit. So this is 6.4. And as you can see, I'm making small movements. I keep moving over, going over to the top, making circles. Just make sure you keep moving in order to make solid black. What I always do, I like to move quicker and go over it a couple more times. You know, while you're moving around. Seems to work best for me. It's kind of black. Let's color up through the line a little bit. Go. It's working. Actually, it does not look too bad. I'm pretty impressed by this machine. give it a good clean. Alright, not too bad, not too bad. But now let's see how it compares to an original Dan Kubin. So this is all done with the knockoff, which is $150. Now let's see how it compares to $1,000. Let's see how it compares to $1,000 machine. Quickly reset, and then we'll go to the Dan Kubin. So since we've used the knockoff only on one setting, I'm going to use this also only on one setting. So it's going to be on the star mode. I'm going to do the lining, the stippling, and the color packing just with that. I'm using it at 5.3. I need a rubber band. So this is the same thing. Put your rubber band over here, turn it, and it's there. Alright, so I'm running it at 5.3. Here we go. Sounds a little bit more smooth though, I have to say. But yeah, it would be worth it. The cheap machine will actually run better than this one. Here we go. Let's start with the bottom here. I'm already seeing that these lines are way more saturated than the other ones. Maybe it's because I had a bit more practice and feel with this machine because I've been using it for so long. start a little bit in the bottom here, move my way up because I messed up a little bit here. Alright. Now let's do the stippling part. So I'm going to turn this down to about 4.5. 4.5, 4.6. Let's do some stippling. Here we go. Good. It is a little bit soft. That's because the motor is just a little slow. But it gives a cool effect. It makes it easier to build up. Let's turn up the focus just a little bit. 4.7, maybe 4.8. Here we go. It's pretty good. It is definitely a lot more consistent, but you know, I'm still super surprised with the knockoff that it actually works so well. I mean, I have used it for a little bit. This one is a lot quicker. Those things just go, things they just pack in there and they're there. So unfortunately my GoPro got a little bit overheated at the end, so it wouldn't record the little last part of the packing black, which I don't think is too important. You can see how both of the machine works. They're both pretty good liners. You can see the Dan Kubin is a little bit better. Now the $1 million question is, would it be worth buying any of these machines? And that all depends on you. What are you doing as an artist? Are you a professional tattoo artist? Are you just starting out tattooing? For the Dan Kubin, if you're a professional artist, it would be the best machine to buy, in my opinion. I bought it, it made me work 10 times quicker than what I normally would with any other machine. It's a lot easier on my hand because it's so light, and if you have a coil machine that weighs half a kilo, it's pretty heavy, and it will wear down your hands a little bit more. So definitely, if you're a professional artist tattooing all day, Dan Kubin v3r is a really good machine to buy. Now, for the knockoff, I am not encouraging anyone to buy a knockoff, but if you are new to the Sidewinder concept, you want to give it a try, see if you like the style of the machine, see if you like tattooing with it, definitely buy it. It's a good machine. It's not a terrible knockoff. It's probably one of the better knockoffs that I had. And yeah, test it out. See if you like it. Use it. Use it on practice skin. Maybe use it on yourself. Maybe on some friends who want to get tattooed. And for the budget, it will give you a pretty good machine and a good test drive, sort of, on the Dan Kubin. And then if you really enjoy this machine, you can always buy the original one, because it will most likely last longer. Well, you can see on the practice skin as well, is it works way more efficient, so it will make you quicker. But yeah, definitely both machines pretty good. In my opinion, the Kubin wins. But the other one was not bad. I was actually really surprised how well it worked. If you enjoy watching these kind of videos, you have to make sure you smash that subscribe button, like the video, and tell me in the comments down below which 1v1 you want to see next. It might take a while because I need a lot more subscribers for content like this. But yeah, just let me know, because I'm curious to see. Maybe I even own some of the machines that you want to see. So just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.